He didn't break in. He walked through the front door, with a letter from the president. Baghdad, March 2003. The country is on the edge of collapse. American forces are days away from launching a full-scale invasion. The regime of Saddam Hussein is crumbling, slowly, but visibly. Yet inside the palaces, nothing seems out of place. Gold lines the walls. Fear controls the streets. And in the basements of state banks, billions of dollars sit in silence, like doomsday treasure. The Central Bank of Iraq isn't just a financial institution. It's the vault of the regime's power. Records are secondary. Loyalty is currency. And in that vault lies trust, the private wealth of Saddam's inner circle, stored in stacks of American cash. Uday Hussein is not a man. He's a shadow. The eldest son of Saddam, brutal, erratic, untouchable. A man whose name alone opens every door and closes every mouth. Whispers say he tortures for fun, vanishes enemies, and moves through Baghdad like a storm. No one says no to Uday. Because no one survives that. But even he knows, time is running out. Bombs are coming. Power is slipping. And before the regime falls, there's one final move to make. A move that doesn't require guns or a mask. Just a letter. Signed by the president of Iraq. There was no code name. No secret meeting in a dark alley. Just an order, hand-delivered on official stationery. And at the top, Saddam Hussein's signature. The letter instructed the central bank to release nearly $1 billion in US dollars, immediately. No questions. No delay. It was a matter of national security. But the truth? This wasn't for the country. It was for the family. On the night of March 18, 2003, as coalition forces prepared for airstrikes, Uday Hussein arrived at the central bank just before dawn, escorted by a convoy of military trucks and hand-picked loyalists. No shouting. No violence. Just quiet orders, executed like a military drill. Bank officials, frozen in fear, had no choice. They read the letter. They verified the seal. And then, they unlocked the vault. Inside, pallets stacked with shrink-wrapped bundles of $100 bills. American money, flown in through oil deals, corruption, and years of brutal sanctions. Now, being taken out in a single night. It took 3 hours. 20 trucks. And the silent coordination of men who knew. This wasn't theft. It was extraction. Uday oversaw it all himself. Counting. Directing. Loading. By sunrise, over $900 million in cash was gone. And Uday? He vanished. No alarms. No chase. The greatest bank heist in modern history was already complete. There was no ski mask. No getaway car. Just armored trucks rolling through Baghdad. Under military escort. The convoy moved before the city fully woke up. No sirens. No interference. Just confidence, the kind that comes with absolute power. Each vehicle was packed to its roof with American dollars. No serial tracking. No documentation. Just bricks of money. Raw, untraceable, and soon to be scattered across borders, vaults, and safe houses. The execution wasn't chaotic. It was surgical. Drivers were hand-picked. Guards were loyalists. Routes were cleared in advance. By noon, the trucks had splintered, some headed to secret compounds outside Baghdad, others to undisclosed locations across Iraq. Some disappeared entirely. It was a disappearance operation disguised as a transfer. Satellite images would later show unusual activity at several Hussein family estates. Multiple convoys. Buried containers. Fast construction of underground bunkers. It was clear. They weren't planning to defend the country. They were preparing to disappear. But the precision didn't end there. In a separate, second withdrawal, Saddam's younger son, Qusay Hussein, returned to the bank just days later. This time, it was $100 million in euros. The play was clear. Diversify. Hide. Survive. Not a single bullet fired. Not a single vault forced open. Just two brothers, draining the state's lifeblood, under the guise of authority. No one stopped them. Because no one could. And when the first U.S. bombs hit Baghdad, the money was already gone. The plan was flawless. But perfection dies fast in war. As U.S. forces swept into Baghdad weeks later, Chaos swallowed the city. Buildings burned. Statues fell. And with them, the silence that once protected the Husseins. Intelligence teams moved quickly. They weren't just hunting weapons or commanders, they were hunting cash. Because rumors were spreading, Saddam's sons had emptied the central bank. And the money was still in Iraq. Tip-offs trickled in. Loyalists caught fleeing with duffel bags. Cash-stuffed walls found in abandoned palaces. Even neighborhood kids bragging about $100 bills, in a country where most had never held one. The cracks started showing fast. Some of Uday's drivers were arrested. Others killed in ambushes or raids. One confessed to burying money in the desert. But when troops arrived, the site was empty. Someone had beaten them to it. Loyalty began to fracture. Survival instincts took over. A few low-level guards tried to bribe their way out of the country, offering bags of U.S. cash to border officers. Others simply disappeared, along with whatever slice of the fortune they could carry. Then came the biggest break. A defected bodyguard, once part of Uday's inner circle, revealed locations. Coordinates. Names. He described vaults hidden in farmhouses. Caves reinforced with concrete. He even drew a map, by memory. And that was the beginning of the unraveling. The regime had fallen. Now, its secrets were cracking open, one by one. By summer 2003, the war had shifted. The regime was gone, but the hunt was far from over. The U.S. military and intelligence teams launched one of the most aggressive financial recovery operations in modern history. Codename: Operation Iraqi Treasure. House by house, vault by vault, they searched. In some cases, they found millions, wrapped in plastic, buried beneath chicken coops or concrete floors. In others, they found nothing, but signs that someone had been there first. Over the next several months, an estimated $650 million was recovered, a staggering sum. But it still left a question floating in the heat. Where was the rest? Some said Uday had smuggled a portion into Syria before his death. Others whispered about underground bunkers never found, guarded by loyalists too scared to speak. In July 2003, the story darkened. A tip led U.S. forces to a villa in Mosul. Inside, Uday and Qusay Hussein. Armed. Cornered. What followed wasn't quiet. It was a 4-hour gun battle that left both brothers dead. The men who had pulled off the largest cash heist in modern history died without ever spending most of it. But the money? That was still moving. Suitcases of American cash were now flowing through black markets, war zones, and border crossings. And every briefcase carried a piece of the central bank heist. Blood money with no fingerprints, but a trail soaked in war. No arrests were made. Because technically, no crime had been committed. The order came from the president. And the bank obeyed. In the world of high-stakes crime, most stories end in capture. This one ends in silence. Uday and Qusay Hussein died without trial. No courtroom. No confession. And no official reckoning for the nearly $1 billion they took, in plain sight. Of the stolen fortune, over $350 million was never recovered. It vanished, into private hands, hidden vaults, and foreign accounts. Some of it still turns up today, worn bills in far-off places, marked by serials linked back to Baghdad. But the real legacy of the heist isn't the money. It's the message. That power, unchecked, doesn't need to steal. It just signs a letter. The central bank heist of 2003 wasn't a robbery. It was obedience. A system built on fear, collapsing under its own weight. And in that final moment, as the regime crumbled and the bombs fell, one man walked into a vault and walked out with $1 billion. No mask. No gun. Just a pen. And a name no one dared question. Because sometimes, the greatest crimes don't hide in the shadows. They walk through the front door.